Let's review the process for removing and replacing the brakes in a 2007 Volkswagen Golf, also known as a Rabbit overseas. Step 1, we remove the tire. Step 2, we remove the spring. That's a retention spring holding the brake pad in place. Now we're going to pinch the brake line to prevent excess fluid leakage. And we're going to remove the brake line as shown in the video. Once complete, we will remove the caliper with two 22mm bolts. Now we will prepare the new product for assembly. Installing anti-seize on the mounting faces, as shown. Lubricating the pistons and the calipers to prevent squealing. And slide the assembly back together. Now we're going to remove the rotor bolt with an impact screwdriver and then coax the rotor off the car with a hammer. Remove the rust on the knuckle so that when we reinstall it, it lays properly flat. If you live in the northern climates with salt on the road, put some anti-seize on that axle to prevent rust, and then we can install the new rotor. We will install this same screw, and while this screw looks small, it only holds the rotor in place temporarily.
When you have a replacement caliper that's been painted, you sometimes got to put the thread chaser through these holes to clean the paint out of there so that it'll accept the threads of the new bolts.
There you can see Phil cleaning out those threads. And now we're going to assemble that back on the vehicle. Two 22mm bolts again with thread locker. And we're going to torque that down to 140 foot-pounds, a fairly tight setting. Installing the pads, the back pads slide into the slot. And if you look, you'll see the front pad is actually sitting on the outside surface. He's already installed that. So when they assemble this piece, you'll have pads on both the front and the back. Installing it in the correct location, and then we're going to install the guide pins. These guide pins allow the brake to center as the brake pad wears, so you always have the same amount of force on the inside pad as the outside pad. Tighten them down to 22 foot-pounds. Reinstalling the protective cap so corrosion can't build up. And then the banjo fitting.
So this is a banjo bolt, has a hole in the center and a hole on the side. The fluid actually flows through the middle of this bolt. So we got a bolt and two copper washers. These are sealing washers.
Now we will remove the rubber cap so that we can install the banjo fitting and tighten it down to 26 foot-pounds. Just enough to crush those copper washers. Reinstall the spring clip for proper brake pad alignment and retention, and then remove the pinch pliers on the brake line itself.
I'm going to open the bleeder valve. I'm going to have someone push the brake pedal down, which is going to push all the air out and fill the caliper with fluid. And then I'm going to close the valve. Push down. Let up. Push down. Let up. Push down.
Once complete, we're going to top off the fluid into the brake reservoir. We're going to remove that engine cover just enough to give us access to the brake reservoir. And now we're adding .4 fluid back to the maximum fill mark. Putting the screw or putting the cap back on and putting the engine cover back in place. Let's put the tire back on. Always install these in a star pattern. The proper torque spec on these tires is 90 foot-pounds, and there you can see the star pattern. Both the left and the right are identical, and you are good to go. Good job to Phil, as well as David Buchanan for editing.